meeting and the recording of it. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Thanks, Sharon, for being with us. Today, we're going to have lay down in this webinar on the RAD Insight. This is a new service by RAD, offering an end-to-end view of the problems that might happen on the networks. Sharon is going to describe this service and all what is related to it. You can ask your question as usual using the chat box, the Q&A box. You can drop email. The session has been recorded and will be posted on our website. So the stage is yours, Sharon.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm going to talk about RAD Insight PM. PM stands for Performance Monitoring. We recently introduced this new service. RAD Insight is a new service suite, and RAD Insight PM is the first service we're launching within this service suite. It's basically providing end-to-end customer and service visibility. We hope and plan for it to help service providers to streamline their support and operations procedures, and by that contributing to OPEX savings and to the credibility of service providers with their business customers. So it's designed on top of our EAD product lines, and hence it's designed to our service provider customers. RAD Insight PM is a cloud-based service. The insights, the intelligence, the information is consumed off the cloud in the format of a dashboard. And it's also a subscription-based on-demand service. So customers would be paying per the number of EADs this service was applied to throughout a month. So, currently, of course, EADs or needs are serving as the demarcation point for a layer 2 business access. And RadView and the PM portal products are providing visibility and management of the layer 2 network and the layer 2 service of the service provider. And this is what's available now. We have figured out that there's a need to have a wider visibility span, and hence we're introducing RAD Insight that provides visibility span of the entire end-to-end service. So when customers are utilizing the Ethernet business access for things like internet access or cloud access, RAD Insight provides visibility span of everything from the customer's branch, including the customer's local area network, all the way to where the application consumed by the end users, where the application is. So this is just to to position RAD Insight versus our current management and performance monitoring tools. So basically, what we do, we have a layer 2 device, but we have layer 2 to layer 7 intelligence that is provided on top of this device. I want to emphasize that RAD Insight is independent of RadView. It does run on top of our ETX product lines, the needs or EADs, but it's independent of RadView. It uses continuous monitoring and AI-based analytics that runs in the cloud. And and with this, it is able to provide end-to-end visibility and customer-centric insights. So not only, network performance monitoring, but more of a customer-centric performance monitoring. So basically, what we hear is that a lot of the business customer complaints to service providers are around issues generated outside of the service provider's network. And so the service providers usually handle these complaints by saying, well, the problem does or does not lie in my network domain. And so that's basically the scope of visibility of a service provider. And in order to be able to see further beyond the administrative domain of the service provider and its network, service providers do use proactive monitoring, sometimes service affecting. They involve technical teams, and we want to avoid this. We provide a service that provides continuous monitoring and instant views of what's going on in the network and customer service end to end. Also today, when you use all types of tests and proactive monitoring tools, you need some networking savviness in order to interpret the results. And we move into with Rad Insight into a simple to understand view that can be used by anyone basically within the service provider teams. They don't need to have technical know-how, and can also be used by the business customers themselves. So basically at a glance views of problem areas that are very simple to read and very meaningful and actionable.
I would like just to remind to the people that if you have questions, you can raise your hand and we'll open your mic, or you can just put your question on the chat box. As usual, Sharon, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. So how does it work? Basically, what we're doing, we're leveraging the EAD that is already located at the demarcation point at between the customer premises, between the customer's network to the service provider network. We leverage it to collect samples of user traffic. We mirror samples of user traffic, and we mirror it into Rad Insight collectors that we plan to deploy in regional hubs within the service provider network. And we are collecting up to 2.5% of the traffic in total into those collectors. In the collector, what we do, we strip out the payload. We don't store it, the payload, we don't analyze it, we just use the headers of the packets, and this is forwarded to the Rad Insight hub within the cloud for analysis. We also, in order to, since the ETX is a demarcation between the LAN and the WAN, and we also wanted to segment between the LAN and the cloud domain, or let's call it the services domain. We use a PM controller that runs TWAMP between the controller and the different EADs participating in the Rad Insight PM service. And this is, of course, collecting TWAMP KPIs for the layer 2, for the service provider segment. And these KPIs are also forwarded for an analysis in the cloud. And please note that the PM controller doesn't need to be located inline. It could but just reside at a peering point to the internet, next to the peering point to the internet. Doesn't need to be inline. So we're not introducing any inline probes in the network in order to, have the performance monitoring work. And then what we do, we analyze all the information we received, the user traffic samples, the mirrored samples, and the KPIs, T1 KPIs, and we analyze them and we come up with quality scores, per customer quality scores that basically give us a simple to read and understand notion of the quality of customer service in each one of the mentioned segments, in the local area network of the customer, in the one area network, and in the cloud, all the way from the exit point to the internet to where the application resides. So in the LAN segment, we're going to see per customer, per source IP quality scores. So not only we would be able to say what is the status of the LAN, of the service within the customer's LAN, we would also be able to segment it further into LAN segments if the customer's LAN is built in this way. In the one also, we're going to provide per customer quality scores. So this is now showing customer names rather than EVCs and providing some, quantified quality scores that can, instead on top of the usual network APIs. And in the cloud segments, we're going to provide per customer site, per destination IP, meaning per service. So per customer site, per service quality scores. So for each service accessed from a customer site, we provide a quality score. So if there is a complaint about a specific service, we would be able to say, well, for this specific service, we see that the problem is in the cloud segment. And so this is basically the information we're providing. All this is going to be provided instantaneously once the user of the system puts in a customer name and a customer site name. So since these views are very simple to understand, as I said, they can be used by either service providers, service provider teams, even call center attendees accepting complaints from business customers that can use this dashboard to have an instant visibility into what's going on, so they don't need to continue or go into a finger pointing discussion with the customer, telling him this is not in our network, it's somewhere else, check your LAN, check the cloud, or whatever. They're able to give the customer some intelligent visibility into what's going on with their services. Or it can be used by the customers themselves to access this information and get end-to-end visibility directly. So we hope this can generate a lot of OpEx savings, both by reducing or minimizing, shortening the calls to call centers, or just avoiding them altogether. Less technical teams will be involved in troubleshooting, less truck rolls, less unnecessary replacements of CPEs, because everything is, clearer and simple to understand, and the visibility is there. And we think this is going to increase the trustworthiness of the service provider by being able to provide, greater visibility, avoid friction points with customers, and basically service them in a more credible way. So you can ask yourself, what's the competition? Or you've heard about other, performance monitoring tools. So I'll start on the right side of this slide. First of all, of course, there are, full-blown performance monitoring or experience monitoring solutions out there. One to, mention is Cisco's Thousand Eyes. And they provide, a highly granular segmentation of problem areas. But in order to do this, they use many inline physical or virtual probes. And this is completely different positioning than what we're trying to do here. We're just saying, use your already the ETX that you're already using with your customers, and just apply, new intelligence on top of it, and gain visibility. So we're not really in competition with those vendors. Of course, if you have a customer that already have such a system in place, maybe RAD Insight PM is not for them. On the left side, you can see that there's a new trend really to have CPE-based performance monitoring, and basically generating network and customer insights based on information collected from the CPE. So one such solution to mention, but most of them are actually around SD-WAN. That's where it started. One example is Juniper's Mist. And this is interesting. It has some, similarities with RAD Insight PM, but it's running on top of, routers and layer 3 CPEs. So when a service provider is running a layer 2 service, it makes sense that they would opt for RAD Insight on top of RAD leads or EADs. And so this is also not really competition with us. We are the only ones that provide this type of functionality on top of Ethernet access devices. Questions, comments?
For the moment, it seems to be quiet.
Okay.
We have a question.
Is there an initial trial period?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good question. Of course, we will have a trial period. And also remember that this is an as a service service. Basically, it's a SaaS service. So it means that a service provider can deploy this system with no costs. We're going to deploy it, and then the service provider can decide which and how many EADs to add to the service, and going to pay for these EADs only. And so this is for the longer term. This is really the product. We will be willing to start a trial with customers for free. we were thinking about a 3 months trial, and we haven't, we haven't decided how many these are going to be included, but that's something to basically talk about and decide. I hope I addressed this question. Okay, so there's another question: what type of KPIs we get from this tool? So I'd like to go back a little bit to this slide and explain that per each one of the 3 segments, we first provide the quality scores as explained, and the quality scores are calculated based on the KPIs that we collect. We can also show them. These include the round trip time, the packet loss, and the jitter, and then this quality score is based on these KPIs, but it's also based on the history of the specific customer site. So we basically, with the quality score, we try to perceive the usual, experience of a customer and give you a notion whether this experience has stayed the same, improved, or worsened. Okay. Here we have a few frequently asked questions. I'm going to, this is included in the deck that is going to be shared with you. And so you can go through these frequently asked questions and see the answers for yourselves. Please let me know if you have more questions now before we wrap up. And you're all invited. If you haven't seen it already, you're all invited to ask for a demo of Friday Inside PM. And we also share, of course, this demo with customers. So this is available, of course. To wrap up, RAD Insight PM is provided on top of RAD EADs. It provides 24/7 continuous monitoring across network and business services. And we provide all this functionality of the cloud. It means that we can enhance the intelligence provided by the EADs, the needs, without really, upgrading the box itself, just leveraging it's there. We don't need to upgrade hardware or software. We can just, provide more intelligence of the cloud. The service is very customer and service centric. It provides meaningful insights, actionable insights, and it's easy and simple to understand by everyone, including all CSP teams and even business customers. And as I said, it is a subscription-based, monthly-based service that can gradually be provided over ETXs. Okay, there's another question. Can a customer be aware of a cyber attack or irregular traffic, or is just to monitor the quality of service? Okay, it's a good question. And as I mentioned at the beginning, RAD Insight is a service suite. And for now, we have launched the first service, which is around performance monitoring. We plan to launch more services in the future around security, as you mentioned, and around all kinds of anomalies that we detect in the network. We're going to correlate the traffic that we collect from customers with different sources of information, and hence, find more anomalies. And so there's more to wait for around RAD Insight. This is just the first service that we're launching.
All right, that's it. I think that we have seen the question that have been asked. So
Feel
we can
free
call
to
it today.
contact me
Yeah.
if you have more questions or you want to see the demo. Everyone is welcome.
We have some questions on the Q&A. Can you manage voice mean opinion score?
Yeah. No, this is not part of the service. And this is a different layer, and we don't handle voice for now.
Not yet. Okay, good. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Thanks, Sharon. We're going to run